A medical doctor, Basildon University, Femi Oyekan joins me on the news via Skype from London. Good to have you join us, Dr. Oyekan. We have continued to see cases rising in several parts of the world, as well as the global cases. But talk to us about the current infection rate. Are we still seeing the same level of spike as we used to?
Thank you for making me part of this conversation. First, I will say that the level of infection has significantly reduced, especially in the UK where I work. Wards are beginning to open up. They are thinking of gradually easing off on the lockdowns and allowing business to go back to normal. The other countries like Germany, like Italy and France, where the country is beginning to introduce some lockdown measures because of the new spike. I think it has to do with the rate of vaccination. In Europe, even there is a bit of inequality at the pace with which nations are approaching vaccination. So, which is one of the reasons why a country like UK has about half of its population vaccinated in the last 2-3 months, whereas some countries don't even have up to 1%. So that's what will account for what you can see, like some countries trying to use the lockdown as a measure of curbing down on the spread of the disease, whereas some are using vaccination as a means of curbing down on the spread of the disease.
All right, I just have to quickly jump in because of our time, but I want to ask you, would you say that we have reached the peak of this pandemic?
I'll say no global expert who want to take that risk of saying we are seeing the peak. If you listen to what the WHO chairman said, that where if the entire world is not seen as a global village, we run the risk of even having some variants of the virus in countries that thinks that they've been vaccinated. Some variants may pop up that may make the entire vaccine to become very irrelevant. So at the moment, I still think that the richer countries are supposed to form a collaboration with the poorer nations to ensure that everybody across the globe has a fair share of whatever vaccine or whatever medication is available to treat this virus. That's the only time we can, as a unit, say that we're beginning to make some safe projections as if we have come to the end of the pandemic or we are approaching the end.
All right, so let's quickly talk about that collaboration between richer and poorer countries, because we are seeing this heads of about 23 countries, heads of state of about 23 countries sending an open letter on Tuesday with European Council President Charles Michel for an international pandemic treaty. What do you make of that, and what would be the implication of that for this pandemic? And they're already projecting that we might see another pandemic.
Yeah, I think that's a welcome development in the fact that if you look at what the chairperson of EU said 2 weeks earlier, where he said that EU is going to start looking inward. That means the people, like he said, to your tent to Israel, people start taking care of themselves. And if you take that approach, you're going to have a situation where one part of the world is saved and one part of the world is totally almost in a complete ruin. But if nations are beginning to come together and push for the fact that there should be a fair share, WHO needs to also coordinate the effort and see that countries like, in terms of AstraZeneca vaccine in particular, let me use that as an example. They've given the license to India and South Korea to also produce. That's what we're expecting from Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, where you give the license, you give the standard of operation to developing nations to be able to produce these vaccines for their own consumption. And also, if you see that AstraZeneca has also given license to SmithKline Beecham to also be able to, so that they can join in production and boost the production power. We're also looking at if that kind of collaboration exists across nations, across companies, we're beginning to see that we're going to march a lot faster to the finishing line than what we're doing at the moment.
Medical Doctor, Basildon University, Femi Oyekan, thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, you're welcome.